House will come to order. Please take the conversations outside of the room. Chair recognizes Representative Bennett.
Mr. Speaker, members, thank you. Thank you, Tim. Today, we celebrate what's being called as a Day of Innocence. Today, joining us in this chamber are three men who have been sentenced to death row. Only later did we found factually innocent. The first one is Clarence Brantley. Clarence Brantley served 10 years on Texas's death row. This is not a problem, though, that's endemic only to Texas. Because we're also joined today by Ron Keene, who served 2 years on death row in New Mexico. As further evidence, we're joined by Albert Burrell, who spent 13 years on death row in Louisiana. Members, when the system fails, it means we have failed. Because we are the people that Texas looks to, particularly innocent people, to make sure that our system works, but that justice prevails for the rich, the poor, but most of all, for the innocent. And with that, Mr. Speaker, I will pass it.
Members, you heard the motion. Are there any objections? Chair hears none. Resolution is adopted.
Das Texas Bang Bang, die Cowboy-Nummer, das muss aufhören. Diese Haltung ist falsch. Es ist nicht richtig. Lassen wir uns zusammensetzen und darüber reden, alle Seiten betrachten.
At the Texas Capitol Wednesday, it was a meeting about life and death. Clarence Brantley, Albert Burrell, and Ron Keene were once on death row. They were later found to be innocent of their separate crimes and released.
No justice system in the world can ever be the best as long as it kills its own citizens. It can't be, as long as it kills people.
Their hope is that one day Texas will abolish the death penalty, just as Illinois did last week. Their concern is that too many people have already been wrongly convicted and executed.
Students were not the only visitors with this anti-death penalty message. State lawmakers got to look into the eyes of three men who were wrongly convicted, locked away, and all three came very close to being executed. A resolution was passed in the House chamber recognizing death row exonerees Clarence Brantley, Albert Burrell, and Ron Keene.
Members, when the system fails, it means we have failed.
Now, the bill by Representative Dutton calls for a 2-year moratorium and also the creation of a special commission that will look into why wrongful convictions take place and how to prevent them. As for the rally will go on, start at 5:30 and will last until about 7 o'clock tonight. Reporting live at the state capitol, Rudy Koski, Fox 7 News Edge.
I did 13 years on death row. 2 counts of murder I didn't do. I got arrested in '86. And my ass lied on. The good Lord had blessed me, and so ever since I got out in 2001, I've been traveling state to state to demolish the death penalty.
Our family, just like a lot of these other families, have also been victimized by these tyrants within the judicial system. We're all collateral damage in this dangerous political game. In 1997, my brother Ryan was tried for first-degree murder. He was arrested at the age of 17, and there was no physical evidence. It was all circumstantial evidence. His trial lasted 3 days.
And I will never let you down. To all the people of this movement, here we stand, condemned to death, but not slain. We're still surviving, and we come here today to march with you all. They say death row, we say hell no. They say law boys, we say hell no. Abolition in our time, let us march.
executed. This is a racist system, an unfair system, and we're going to shut it down. Capital punishment. Capital punishment. Capital punishment. Capital punishment. We say hell no. Governor Perry says death row. We say hell no. Governor Perry says death row. We say hell no. Albert was on Louisiana death row 13 years. They wanted to kill this man, and he didn't hurt a soul. Okay, Suja Graham, come on up front. Yeah, Suja. Suja Graham was on death row in California because he was a political activist. He was a Black Panther, and they targeted him. But Suja is alive today. For each of these persons that are alive, Clarence, Suja, Albert, there are dozens of people who were innocent who have been executed. That's why we need to abolish the death penalty now.
Because I had spent what was clearly for me the most profoundly moving weekend of my life. And I spent 2 days staring into the living faces of the death penalty. I shared a room that weekend with a force of nature, an incredible personality, Rolando Cruz from the state of Illinois. Rolando is a person of uncommon intelligence. He is a person of enormous charisma, who were innocent and who were so close to death. These are good people. These are the kind of people that you would have dinner with on Friday night. But yet at the same time, the thing that we have to remember is that they're the lucky ones. They're the lucky ones. These are men whose lives give new meaning to the old maxim, there but for the grace of God, go I.
A Valley man who helped change a law in Illinois is trying to do the same in Indiana. Randy Steidle was locked up on death row for murders he didn't commit. He spoke today at Indiana State University about how easily his wrongful conviction happened.
Ever been accused of something that you didn't do, that maybe your brother or sister did, mom and dad blamed you for it?
Randy Steidle told ISU criminology students how he was wrongly convicted of the 1986 murders of Dyke and Karen Rhodes in Paris, Illinois.
Remember that pain and that hurt that you felt when you were pleading your case and nobody would listen?
No one listened to Steidle either until a judge freed him after 17 years in prison.
There's over 4,000 people on America's death rows. How many of them are actually innocent and sitting there without a voice?
The Coles County resident now travels the country speaking out against the death penalty.
I feel like God spared me for a reason, and that was to speak for these people who are actually innocent and expose the system for what it is.
One man who is very happy to see the governor sign the death penalty ban is Nate Fields. He spent more than 20 years in prison for a crime he did not commit.
I mean, sometimes you hear of guys who spent time on death row. A couple of these gunneries actually believe in the death penalty. Not everyone's on your side. What do you think, though, when you hear 64%, we just had the Gallup poll on, 64% of people support the death penalty. A lot of folks say, why don't we just preserve it for the most heinous crimes? How do you respond to that?
Okay, I respond to that is to institute it for the most heinous crime, you would have to be for executing innocent people to be for the death penalty, because the human factor. We're going to make mistakes. It's inevitable. And to be for the death penalty simply means we're going to tolerate executing a few people to get a bunch that's bad, and that's not right.
Well, I know you speak around the country about this issue, and
yes,
you'll continue to do it. Are you going to go to other states now and try to fight the battle there? Is that on your agenda?
Yes, that's the plan. I'm a member of Witness to Innocence. We're a group of exonerees from death row throughout the nation that has come together to tell our story, to try to repeal this death penalty system in every state in America.
All right, Nate Fields, thank you for taking the time, sharing your story, and we appreciate it.
Thank you.
How many of y'all out there have been in jail, been in prison, know what we're talking about at all? Whether you were a visitor, whether you just walked through there. How many of you actually heard them doors slam and shut behind you, seen them guards, smelled those smells, heard those noises? Yeah, it's enough. Well, that was our life from day in, day out. It was certainly shocking, disconcerting, and frightening even for us those first days, weeks, and then it turned into months, and then of course years. Maybe it gets a little easier, I don't know, maybe you just learn how to survive, exist, if you will. But it's hard to tell somebody what that's like in there if all they ever got it from was watching a television show.
Because of a technicality, the state is refusing to give Clarence Brandley compensation. KHOU 11 News reporter Brad Woodard is live near downtown Houston after a news conference just wrapped up. He's going to explain why. Brad, fill us in.
Well, Greg, imagine spending 10 years on death row for a crime you didn't commit only to be denied the same compensation that's being offered to others. Well, that's how Clarence Brandley is feeling tonight. Last week, Brandley received a letter from the state controller denying his claim for compensation because, among other things, it was filed after the 3-year limitation.
I'm hoping that not only just for my sake, but I'm saying for those who have been incarcerated, period, wrongfully, should be also compensated as well.
He deserves not only his freedom, he deserves his compensation, he deserves an apology from the state of Texas and Montgomery County, Texas, and the late Cheryl D. Ferguson deserves more than just a cold grave in the cemetery over there where she's buried.
Now, in a similar case we've been hearing a lot about, Anthony Graves was denied compensation on a technicality. Today, the state Senate approved a bill that would pay Graves $80,000 a year for each year he was wrongly incarcerated, and Brandley says the Senate should do the same for him. We spoke to the Comptroller's office today, and they tell us they're simply following the letter of the law, and perhaps the law should be rewritten. We're live near downtown Houston. Brad Woodard, KHOU 11 News.
First thing I want to tell you, something that you all really need to know. Texas is executing innocent people. It's that simple. Ask me. They tried to murder me twice in 18 years. 2 execution dates for a crime I did not commit. And they had every reason to believe that I was innocent. This is a democracy, man. We the people. We have the power. We have the power. But we so graciously give it away. And the politicians so graciously take it. And you know what happened? They come back and bite you in the butt with it. My mother lived 18 years through this hell with me. She's not in the best of health. This took a toll on her life. My kids grew up without their father. Why? Why? Because once we entrusted our politicians, we just let them go. You gotta hold them accountable.
Well, when it's enough, it's enough. When are we going to become a civilized and stop being barbarics? I'm not against capital punishment. I'm not for capital punishment. I'm against killing. Whether the killing is done by an individual, a state, and the death houses, or a country dropping its bombs.
We know how. We've been with the worst, and we've been with the best. But check this out. We was in the jails, but jail didn't come back out here with us. We had to get ourselves together. If a person killed someone, if they did do these crimes, no man have the right to take a life. No man. They say it's against the law. Now, who is that above the law? Gonna sit up high and say, I sentence you to die. God didn't do that.
It's a tough walk for the men leading this procession. They were once on death row. Evidence exonerated them. The journey's been a hard one for Gregory Wilhoit. After he was freed, an accident put him in a wheelchair.
For whatever reason, I'm convinced that God's got a job for me, so I'm a man on a mission, and my mission is educating people about the realities of capital punishment.
Wilhoit says he used to be pro-death penalty until he found himself on death row.
He'll be dead. This is Execution Watch. Texas had 17 executions last year, funded by taxpayers to the tune of some $40 million. Huntsville reporter outside the death house, Gloria Ruback.
caso fue en Florida. Yo estuve 17 años, 8 meses y un día en el pabellón de la muerte, esperando que me ejecutaran. Si yo hubiera estado en el estado de Texas, yo no estuviera aquí hablando con usted.
Ellos son la familia de...
He's my father.
Él es su papá.
This is where the journey begins.
Ray Krohn, Derrick Jameson, Suya Graham, Ron Cainey. Aunque eran inocentes, pasaron largos años en el corredor de la muerte esperando ser ejecutados. Ahora van a recorrer el camino de Santiago.
Getting away from the city and being out in nature, and it puts me in contact with my emotions, and it makes me appreciate life more.
Para ellos, una gran oportunidad para volver a creer en el ser humano.
You have to forgive, because if you don't forgive, it eats you up inside. When you were born, everyone around you were probably smiling, and you were crying. Go on out and live your life, so that when you die, you'll be the one that is smiling, and everyone around you will be crying. The human being is extraordinary.
Ryan, what the hell are you doing? What they do in the movies, man? You ain't no actor. I know.